Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Ken Meeks Show. This is the second week. We have a great show for you today. We have Rahfeal Gordan, award-winning, international entrepreneur, author, global leadership advisor. We also have Leonardo Romeo, better known as BK, from Love and Hip Hop. We're going to have a great show for you today. Sit back and relax, and let's go.
I've been on my hustle each and every day, trying to change my life. Ain't got time to play. Been going through some things, but it's all okay. By the grace of God, I will find my way. I've been in the streets, in and out my home. Nobody really cares until you're dead and gone. Working minimum wage, doing the best I can. I'm trying to elevate to be a better man. It's so hard.
Rahfeal Gordan. What's going on, man?
Good, how you feeling, brother?
What's going on, brother? It's good. Good to see you, brother.
Good to
Have
see
a seat.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, bro.
Yeah, man.
I'm excited.
Yeah. So award-winning entrepreneur and author, man.
Yes.
So look, those are some big accolades.
Yeah.
Some big accolades, man. So look, bro, I've been knowing you for a while, man. This interview right here is very near and dear to me, man, because I consider you as a friend.
Appreciate that.
Okay, so
Same
I just wanna say that, man. Also, so has it always been sunny days, man? Tell me about how Rahfeal Gordan was growing up.
Oh man, that's layered, but
Okay.
you know, I'm the oldest out of 4 boys.
Okay.
Originally, I'm a native of Newark, New Jersey, so big shout out to everybody from Newark and anybody from up top, you know, in
Shout out
Northern
New
Jersey, you know. But you know, just like any family, you have your ups and down moments, right? So for me, I've experienced homelessness growing up. You know, being oldest out of 4 boys, lost my brother to street violence, and then another brother to the prison system, and then my other brother went off to college, but he had to leave New Jersey, and of course I went off to college as well. But just growing up, I always say it was, you know, I appreciate and I look at it as a blessing because it actually kind of strengthened me in many different ways, specifically in my spirituality, because in those moments of, I consider dark moments and dark times in my younger years, I really leaned on God and my faith, right? And so for me, I think that, you know, growing up in high school, going through high school, middle school, and dealing with, you know, trying to show a positive side and keep a smile on your face, knowing that you got to go to the shelter, or you're dealing with, you know, physical abuse from your parents, and also just trying to figure out if you're going to see the next day. It can be a lot of pressure on a young person. So, you know, growing up, you know, I also had some sunny days, of course, right? Like, I love my grandparents, they always took care of me, all that good stuff. So, but growing up, I just kind of always kind of leaned on my spirituality, but also entrepreneurship. And I was a young entrepreneur growing up in the inner cities of Newark, New Jersey.
You know what, man, that's a deep story, man, but my grandfather, he always told me, when you meet a man, and if they speak of God, because I hear you talking about your spirituality, yes. You know, and if they speak of God, the first couple of minutes in a conversation, then that's a good man. So, man, crazy story, but it's not a sad story because it got you where you are now. Absolutely. So if you had any advice to give to anybody that's homeless right now, what would you say to them?
Well, it's a quote that I live by, and I always share, you know, wherever I go around the world, and that's, your location is not your destination. And that's
a shirt.
Yep. Even with this one, like I got this shirt made for an organization that I just founded.
Okay.
And yeah, so your location is not your destination is a quote that I always live by and share with others. Yeah, because if you're going through something right now, you know, you got to remind yourself that it's only for a moment. Nothing that we've experienced in terms of any personal storms, it doesn't last always. And as long as you have being optimistic and you always knowing and thinking about the good things that have happened in your life through the process of going through the ups and downs, you realize that it's just a roller coaster, and you know, roller coasters go up and down, right? But no matter what, people always enjoy the ride. So you have to always enjoy the ride, no matter what the situation may bring. And those who are actually always reminding themselves that it's going to be better days and also still push through and be resilient are the ones that actually, I believe, develop a stronger spiritual muscle, a more confidence in themselves, and more importantly, just become better individuals in the world for our humanity in general.
Okay, that's good, bro. So
Appreciate it.
your books
Yeah.
that you have here.
Just a few.
So how many books have you published?
18 now.
Oh, that's a lot. That's good. That's a great accomplishment.
I guess.
So out of all of the 18 books,
Yes.
what book means the most to you?
So actually, it's going to be my first book, which is Skyscraper, the first one of it.
Skyscraper,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So that means a lot to me because it was the book that, I believe that was like my 15th book at the time that I've written. That means a lot to me because when I wrote that book, I was going through a transformation. I was literally turning over a new leaf, going into a new level of my life, having a new mindset. And when I was writing, I didn't have any expectations. Okay. Most of the time, we go through life with expectations on an individual, the products and projects that we create,
right.
businesses that we create. And a lot of times, things never meet our expectations because everybody is their own individual. And you can't control what people do or say. And in projects, and of course, life happens. So a lot of things doesn't happen on your time. So with that book, I kind of just wrote for 2 weeks. I was in Times Square, this place called Cafe Bean. It's no longer there. And I was writing every day. I got into the cafe around 7 a.m. in the morning, and I stayed till 1 a.m. the next day. And I would just write every day. And at the last day of my writing session, my grandmother called me. And I knew I was going to dedicate the book to her, but I just couldn't find out what the title would be.
Right.
And on my way into New York, she says to me, she goes, "Baby, I'm so proud of you. And I wanted you to know," my grandmother, grandmother's love is different, right?
Yeah.
And she says to me, there's a lot of things that you've done that I could not have done in my lifetime, and I'm living through you, and I'm so happy for you. But she said, remember that I'm your foundation, but you're my skyscraper. And so she said, so I want you to go as high as the heavens, and I want you to soar because you're my skyscraper, baby. And so when she told me that,
you said
that was the book.
That's the book.
And I literally got to the cafe. I wrote it down on a piece of paper, put it on top of the manuscript, and I was done. Like I literally was the only thing that was missing. And that book has now sold the most out of all my books. Okay. It has taken me, I've done 3 global world tours with that book, and it has opened so many, many doors for me.
So if I wanted to buy this book, where can I find it? Well, all of your books.
Yeah.
Where can I go to purchase your books?
So of course on my website, which is rahgord.com, but the books are available everywhere. Barnes & Nobles, Amazon, You can go online at Target, and Walmart I'm assuming as well, but they're located in over 30,000 different bookstores on and offline in over 100 countries.
Okay, great. So do you ever go back to New Jersey?
Of course.
To give back, to
Always.
Talk to the kids? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where the wealth is. You can't, you can't
Exactly.
You can't gain all this and not give back.
You gotta give back,
Gotta
brother.
give back.
So global leader.
Yes.
I'm not going to ask you every place you have been to because I know you've been to a lot.
Yeah.
But what was the best experience as far as country go?
Everyone, like honestly, every country has definitely impacted me. But
you always talk about Europe.
Yeah, so I go to Europe a lot. Yeah, so I do a lot in Norway.
Okay.
So I go to Norway at least about 2 to 3 times a year.
Okay.
I spend a great amount of time there. Monterrey, Mexico is where I go as well. It's another home of mine. And man, I've been all over the place. It's just like, but those are my main 2. I would say, if they say where do you live outside of the U.S., my other residents are in Norway, Oslo, Norway, and Monterrey, Mexico. Everything else is definitely home to me, but those are my bases so I can travel to other countries easily. But they've really, really impacted me because those were the first 2 countries that were able to bring me out as a speaker and also be able to do book signings and also kind of really highlight my genius that I really didn't feel I was getting a lot all the time when I was home because of the fact that my story was always the focal point, but sometimes I felt that it overshadowed my brilliance and what I can do as an entrepreneur or a global leader. So when I stepped out of the country and went to Norway and I went to Mexico, it wasn't so much about, they know about my story, but they were like, I want to understand your strategy. How are you able to advise? Because you're a great leader in your country, and we want you to bring that over here. And they embraced me, and because those, like I say, wherever I go is my brothers and sisters.
Right.
You know, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Great accomplishments. So Rob, with all the good stuff that you have accomplished, what legacy would you like to leave behind?
Honestly, to be honest, truthfully, is that I fulfill God's purpose.
Great.
That I really, I lived out the purpose that was meant for me, and I actually left something behind for the next generations to study, to follow, and also understand that love is the foundation of everything.
It's a great answer, man. Well, thank you for coming on the show.
Absolutely.
Glad to have you, brother.
Thank you for having me, bro. Appreciate you.
We're going to be right back with BK, Leonardo Rahfeal from Love and Hip Hop. Welcome back. We have Romel Cummins, better known as BK. What's going on, brother?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
What's up, man?
I'm good. How you been?
It's good, man. Great, man. So, music.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah. So I'm just going to jump right into it, man.
Okay.
Music producer, writer,
Yeah.
TV reality show.
Yeah.
All of those accolades, man. So I know it wasn't always sunny days. So tell me about how was it growing up, as a young 17-year-old BK?
I was very intrigued, very hands-on, wanting to know out of my mom's, I was the middle child.
Okay.
You understand?
Me too, I was the middle child.
So the middle child, I was very acquisitive. You know what I mean? My mother said, don't do it, I did it. You know what I mean? So my pops had 21 brothers and sisters.
Wow.
So we had a big family. So at the time, I was the one that nobody wanted to watch. I don't my grandmother, grandkids. I'm not watching Rahfeal, I don't care what y'all say.
That's the bad one.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But it kind of, all the time I spent alone by myself and trying to do what I want to do, it kind of really gave me my own, my own thing. Where my brother and them was doing their thing, my two young brothers doing their thing. And I was just like, this is when I started boxing.
Okay.
Started boxing. So yeah, I would box. My mom put me in boxing, thought it would calm me down.
So was you good? Did you win more than you lose?
I was really good, but we only fought one time. Before I started getting to my looks and saying, I don't really want to.
I got you.
You know what I mean? So, and then went to high school. My brother was like, my two older, they was like them guys. So
right.
I went there and I was the fighter. So, these people didn't like my brother because he had all the girls. So I'm fighting every day.
Got you.
You know what I mean? And then I was 17. I lost my father at 14.
Wow.
So,
how was that?
Losing my father was like most devastating thing ever happened to me.
I know.
Because I didn't really deal with it at the time. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't really. I was 14. I couldn't really
grasp what's going on.
Yeah,
right.
And so he was like my hero. So right. you know how people say you your mother's kid. Right. I was really I was like a father's boy. Just wanted to be around my pops all the time, and he would always come get me to fight for my older brother. And I'm like, why you get me to fight? And my uncle, he told me something like 2 years ago. He said, your father saw something in you that you probably didn't see in yourself, that you was gonna be this guy today. And I feel like out of my uncle died 2 years ago, and he was like, yo, you the golden child of the family.
Wow. You
know what I mean? So just
deep.
Yeah, just. That whole time I didn't know my father was grooming me because he was about to leave me for this time. And I grew from 17. I started becoming the man in the house. I really my older brother, but I had older brothers, but I was just wanting to get to it. I don't know what I was doing. I was my mom's put me in church because my brothers started going to church, and she was like, "Yo, Rahfeal, this is like." You can't go outside if you ain't going to church.
Gotta have God in you.
So she tried. Thank you for that because it gave me a conscience. And where I grew up in the worst part of Brooklyn called Brownsville.
Brownsville,
So
I heard of that.
it would have been, I knew guys that was doing all types of stuff.
Right.
But the conscience that I had made me second thinking, like, nah, I don't know if I want to be that person. I don't want to,
Gotcha.
you know what I mean? So God really played it. Thank God for that, because
So no matter what type of pressure that's going on around you, you still kept a narrow head on your shoulder.
Because you know what? I always told myself this wasn't my final destination. I would look at these buildings. As a young boy, 17, I remember always wanting to go to the airport.
Wow.
Like, so if somebody would like, yo, ride to the airport. Let me ride with you.
Let's go.
Because I just like seeing the planes come in and take off.
Taking off.
And that did something for me. I still remember that clear. That really did something, because I knew, like, nah, I'm gonna be big. I'm gonna be flying these planes going different places.
You know what? It's amazing that you say that, because I'm from a small town, and a lot of people where I'm from have never left the city, not yet the country. So for you to say that as a young kid, that's
Yo,
deep.
my cousins didn't go to Jersey.
Wow.
I was like, what? And like in my mind, like growing up, so I started to get into music, like you know what I mean, these things, and it just took me the music. I at 26, like so Meeks, you said the peer pressure,
Right.
it didn't affect me until I wanted it to affect me. You feel me?
Yeah.
I wanted money.
Okay.
And my mom, she didn't have it. So my boy was like,
had to get
listen. Yeah, he said, listen, bro, we doing this. If you want to do this, you got to get this. And you know what I mean? So I knew a guy was my uncle. I asked him for, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we started. But I knew in the midst of it, when I started doing it, I was like, I just wanted money in my pocket.
Because you had to.
Yeah, you know what I mean? My mom's struggling. She had boys. Like, it was just like, man, I want to put food on the table. You know what I mean? And
So I got a question for you. I don't mean to cut you off. So if you had any advice, knowing that what you went through, to give somebody else that is probably in the same situation that you was in, what would you say to that young person?
I would tell kids, your dreams are not your purpose. And I would tell them, challenge yourself to find your purpose, because your purpose will put you around your friends. Your purpose will put you on the road you need to be. Your purpose will lead you to where you need to go. Because most people, where I'm from, they don't see their way, so they see other people's way. You understand? So it creates people getting robbed, people getting killed, because that's where hate comes from. The hate becomes because they can't see it. They can't see where they will need to go. So I would tell a kid, and don't what I did, waiting for somebody to say yes.
Yep.
Build a base, get your money to a place where you can get a job. It's okay. It's okay to get a job. It's okay to hustle something that you got to make yourself feel more important than waiting on somebody to say yes.
To give it to you. Waiting on a handout.
Yeah, or waiting on a label to say yes or no. I would never, my whole thing is to go back and tell kids, never, ever put your life in these people's hands.
Create your own.
Create your own. Because once you create your own, they'll come to you.
That's true.
And so many kids make that mistake because, I was one of them kids, like, I'm going to write these rhymes. I'm going to stay in this room and they're going to come. Right. And I was one of the lucky ones that got a $3 million deal. But it's a million kids that's writing rhymes and waiting for a person to say yes, that people come up to me all the time. Yo, B, put me on. And I'm like, if you only know, you could put yourself on.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Your own publishing, but that's another.
But it's just about putting yourself in position to win.
Yeah.
To like what I did now, like not to talk about my next stage, but like
talk about it,
being on Love and Hip Hop. Okay. Being on Love and Hip Hop, it opened the door for me to open. I pivot. I would have never did scalpel micropigmentation.
Right.
What I'm doing now, giving people back hairlines, men, give me back hairlines.
Yeah.
No, but I would never did this. But I wasn't born to do just one thing, because all I knew was music.
You're a jack of all trades.
all I knew was music. I got my most money on music, but once I pivot Meeks, and I made more money. The money I had made $3 million that was in the bank that a person cut me a check for, right? Okay. For my talent. But I took my name and learned a skill and made myself valuable to earn $400,000 in almost 5 months.
That's good, brother.
You know what I'm saying? So I added value to myself, and it opened the doors for everything else. So I would just tell people, man, add value to your life so you can win.
You got to write a book to the blueprint,
right?
You know, so everybody can
do
what you did, brother.
Yeah, you're definitely right.
So question. So what was the turning point? I know you talking about all these points in your life, but what was that turning point that you sat back and said, you know what, I made it? Or have you made it yet?
I feel like, no, I told myself the other day I was riding in the car, and I said, Rahfeal, you gotta learn how to celebrate your wins.
You have to. Because
we move so much in life, and we don't really look back and say, wow, I came far. Right. Like Meeks, 2 years ago, I was struggling paying $1,800.
Wow.
On TV, depressed, and got evicted. Now, I ask God, the more I acquire, the more I require. Because now my bills is almost $10,000 and I don't struggle at all.
Easy.
Easy.
That's God, man.
Yeah, man. Oh, man. That's my whole story, man. My whole thing is called Walk on Water. I'm doing it. So you said help the kids. We really get ready to start a thing called every Tuesday, and we're gonna like Zoom with kids and people all over the world that show them like what I've done, you could do it too. It's the same grace. You have the same God I have. So it's called, my whole thing is Walk on Water. I feel like I'm in my Walk on Water years. I feel like I'm, you know, how God told Moses, he parted the sea, but I really, like, I feel like I'm walking on water because everything I'm doing, man, I just do it with faith.
That's amazing, brother.
You know what I mean?
That's amazing. Great story, man. So let the people know about what you got going on. I know you got belts and clothes.
Yeah.
Belt.
Yeah, my brother got the belt on. Yeah, got the belt on too.
Yeah,
so we got the Leonardo Romel. I was in Italy. I went to 27 countries, right? So I was in Italy at Tripiani's on the water, and that's why I came up with the name. Leonardo DiCaprio is like my favorite, because I was watching Wolf of Wall Street like every minute, right? So I watched it, and I was like, yo, I got to make a name that's going to be, that people won't detect.
Leonardo Romel is hot.
Don't detect what I am, who I am.
Right.
So
you can be Italian with the name.
You can be anything.
Exactly.
So Leonardo Romel is my brand. We got a clothing store opened up in ATL. Yep, we got coats. We selling the hottest stuff. So if you're ever in ATL, Leonardo, look up the Banner Brothers store. You're gonna get your Leonardo Romel. You're gonna get everything. Michael Amiri, Balenciaga, everything. The hottest thing you need.
The hottest.
You need to come to my store. So, and you know, the music, I'm dropping the EP the day of my grand opening, actually.
Oh, okay.
I'm just the music I want to hear, so I just want to put it out.
Put it out there.
And man, we're gonna keep, look out for the next season, Love and Hip Hop, and we're gonna keep rising, man.
Where can they find you at, man?
Find me on Instagram, BK Brasco, BKBRASCO, on Instagram, on Twitter, man. Just find me, and look up the kid, BK from Love and Hip Hop, man.
So, man, before I let you ride out of here, man, when you leave this earth, is there any way that you would like the people to know your legacy? How would you like to leave your legacy?
My legacy, I walked on water.
Walked on water.
You know what I mean?
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
I appreciate you, my
BK.
brother.
Great show. To all the kids out there, y'all heard it firsthand. You can be whatever you want to be. Never give up. Till next time on the Ken Meeks Show.
I've been in the streets, in and out my home. Nobody really cares until you're dead and gone.